Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we're going to talk about one of the interesting moments in American history that I don't think many could truly understand. Eugene Debs, a socialist, running for the Socialist Party of America while still in prison, received 1 million votes for president. Think about this. That is crazy to think. He, even from prison, had so much pull that he still racked in 1 million votes in 1920. To give you all a little bit of information here, Eugene Debs, he was very well known as an American socialist, pro-unionist individual. National chairman of the Socialist Party of America from 1924 to 1926. Was president of the American Railway Union 1893 to 1897. Was the Grand Secretary and Treasurer of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Firemen 1880 to 1893. Was a member of the Indiana House of Representatives. City clerk from Terre Haute, Indiana. Debs was born in 1855 in Terre Haute and would unfortunately pass away in 1926 in Illinois. But yeah, he started out Democrat, then became populist, then became a social democrat, or social democracy party, I should say. Democrat Party, Populist Party, Social Democracy Party, Social Democratic Party, before finally becoming a socialist. So yeah, anyone tries to tell you the idea of socialism, communism are new things. This man was popular enough, still believing in those types of ideologies, to do amazingly in politics. And he ran more than once. 5-time candidate for the Socialist Party of America for president. He was one of the founding members of the Industrial Workers of the World Union. He was an American socialist, political activist, trade unionist. But yeah, absolutely amazing that he could push with so much emphasis. in the days when military and presidents broke strikes, Debs pushed. He was a member of these unions. It's like, look, we're going to strike for our rights, for better payment, better treatment. And that's just who he was. Yeah. So many railway train unions he was huge members of. Which at the time, remember, late 1800s, trains were the big transportation of the government, of the U.S. Following the Great Railroad Strike of 1877, 22-year-old Debs gave a well-received speech at the Brotherhood's annual convention defending the Union from charges that it sought to encourage strikes or lawlessness. The only BLF officer in Terre Haute Lodge re-elected after the strike, Debs was named associate editor of the Locomotive Fireman's Magazine in 1878. So yeah, he fought hard for these unions, for the, better treatment of individuals and workers. BLF, the Brotherhood of Locomotive Firemen. I was trying to remember what it was. But yeah. And as I said, ran for president 5 times. But what we're looking at today, November 2nd, 1920, imprisoned Eugene V. Debs received 1 million votes for U.S. president. He receives 1 million votes in the U.S. presidential election on the Socialist Party ticket while in prison, serving a 10-year sentence for his speech in Canton, Ohio, protesting World War I, which was raging in Europe. So, freedom of speech was basically said, nope, you cannot use your freedom of speech. And here we see a picture of one of the buttons. For president, convict number 9653. For giving this speech, he was arrested and convicted in federal court under the Espionage Act of 1917. He represented himself as his own attorney, and his appeal to the jury and his statement to the court before sentencing are regarded as 2 of the great classic statements ever made in a court of law. Here is an excerpt from his Canton, Ohio speech. And here let me emphasize the fact, and it cannot be repeated too often, that the working class who fight all the battles, the working class who make the supreme sacrifices, the working class who freely shed their blood and furnish the corpses, have never yet had a voice in either declaring war or making peace. It is the ruling class that invariably does both. They alone declare war and they alone make peace. Yeah, I mean, pretty spot on. President starts the wars, but he never fights them. Congress never fights them. It is ultimately the average American, those who serve. Yeah. Uh, but yeah. Protesting World War One in a speech in Canton, Ohio. Let's take a look at that speech. He made this anti-war speech in Canton, Ohio, and was arrested and convicted in federal court in Cleveland, Ohio, under the wartime espionage law. He was his own attorney. We talked about that. Sentenced to serve 10 years in prison. So, yeah. What date was 1918? So he spoke out. Damn be the consequences. I speak out for what is right. And that's essentially what he did. And even while still imprisoned, he ran on the Socialist Party of America ticket. And still, there we go, still got 1 million votes. You gotta respect this man for his ballsiness and for his willingness to do what was right. Because we had stayed out of World War I. 1914 to 1918 was the years of World War I. We had stayed out of World War I for 1914, 1915, 1916. I think it's late 17 we enter. We weren't in it long, but we helped wrap it up. But here's Eugene B. Debs coming out and speaking against World War I. Hell, we may not have even got into it until 1918, but yeah. We were late in, but we helped wrap it up. But yeah. And even though he knew the likely consequences of speaking out, again, he did what was right. Because sometimes consequences be damned. You have to do what is needed to be done. But yeah. But I just wanted to go ahead and talk with y'all about that a moment. So hope y'all enjoyed that little video on Eugene B. Debs' improbable run for president while still in prison for doing what's right. But we'll go ahead and end this video here. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting links and sources in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.